world is an ancient place. Mysteries from the past echo through our own times, and forces beyond our comprehension send reverberations down to our very homes and streets. On a planet filled with intrigue and magic, upheaval can strike without notice. Luckily, there is a group of upstanding adventurers fighting for justice and understanding. A band of gold. This is Tabletop Gold!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Band of Gold, a special presentation of Pathfinder Society scenarios here on Tabletop Gold. I'm Lars Casteen. Welcome to the show. I'm the host and the GM of this episode, or this group of episodes, this 4-part mini-series that we're playing through right now. I am joined for this block of shows by 3 players. First off, let's say hi to Robin Lange. Hi, Robin.
Hello! Happy to be here.
Happy to have you here. We're also joined by Scott Hoffer, back for a second time in the Band of Gold. Hi, Scott.
Hi, here we go again.
Here we go again. Mamma Mia. Here we go again.
Again?
As Cher told us. Cher was in that movie, right? She joined us for the second of the Mamma Mia films?
I heard there might be a third.
Ah, but how many when we get into the third ABBA musical, what are we're scraping up like a Dum Dum Diddle and a Happy Hawaii? Is that what we're throwing into that movie?
That's a very good point, yeah.
I thought everybody died in the second one.
Everyone died. A meteor hit the earth at the end of Mamma Mia. Here we go again.
Is that not what happened? Oh.
Yeah. It turns out it was all a dream. And you know what else is a dream? Is having our final and third guest here on the Band of Gold is Nick Amadeus.
Nick Amadeus, back together again.
Back together again. So Nick is new to the audience. Nick is not new to playing games with us. Let's just talk for a while with Nick. Let's get to meet Nick and get a sense of who Nick is. Nick, you and I and Scott, right? You and Scott had plenty of overlap in our Sunday gaming group that started years and years and years ago playing D&D 4th edition. And then eventually we transitioned into playing 5th edition. Nick, is that true? Can you confirm that, or am I lying to you?
These are facts. That was years ago, and I would say that is a precursor to all the lovely work you guys have done here on this podcast, right?
Yes, it's true. We got started with the Sunday game in maybe 2009 to 2010-ish, if that's possible. And that sort of grew into a standing thing. But Nick and his wife Farrell were sort of the cornerstone of the first campaign that we played in D&D 4th edition, which was a Neverwinter campaign setting homebrew-ish thing that we did. And it was a grand old time.
I don't want to set the bar too high. But when we finished that many years long adventure, people cried. We had to have a little after, a little cuddle session afterwards to make sure everybody was safe before they went home.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
I remember you and I had never played tabletop role playing games before, and I just decided at some point we have to do this. And I invited you. What was your take about tabletop role-playing games before you started playing them? How do you feel about them now? What's your general approach and vibe with games like this?
I like these kinds of role-playing adventuring games when I think you guys were into another kind of board game with a lot of rules, and that stuff makes my head spin a little bit. I like the friend time, but I'm more interested in kind of the writing exercise side of all this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's fun to me.
TI4.
Not Twilight Imperium 4. Nick, are you familiar with the game Twilight Imperium 4?
No, but I can tell by the way that Robin said it and just the name of it, not my forte, right?
The game takes roughly 10 hours to
No.
play,
No.
12 hours to play. It's a big old mess of rules, but also like heavily relies on backstabbing and betrayal.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to play it.
Scott,
get
what
mad?
are your? I get it's for me. This is a beloved game that everybody enjoys, and like nobody has anything negative to say about it. For me, I'm in a constant state of boredom and aggravation for the entire day that I spend playing the game. Scott, how do you feel about Twilight Imperium 4?
Well, that's why we're friends, is that we feel the same way about it.
Do we really?
I mean,
you feel that way?
I think my state is more one of persistent confusion and eventually brain rot, as I just can't keep up. But
Yeah.
it's fun to be together.
All of those reasons are why I'm not allowed to play it, because I would just be unpleasant to have to, like, it would be unpleasant to have to sit in a room with me for 10 hours feeling that way.
Here's the complex part of it, though. This game is something that people love and requires like a ton of commitment to play. So if you're willing to play this game and you're willing to sit down for the 11 hours that it takes to get through the thing, like you kind of owe it to your friends who are excited to be a participant and then to be enthusiastic and positive the entire time. Because if you're not willing to extend yourself in that way, they will never get to play it. So it's like there is a sense of like obligation, not just to do it, but to be positive and to not complain, in my opinion, because you want to take care of the people who love it. Do you know what I mean? Is that
That's
Does that
nice.
really
Good for those
sweet?
people.
That's very sweet.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that person, so I'm not allowed to play it.
Yeah. So Nick, just so you know, Robin, I think is Robin is a board game enthusiast of all Stars and Stripes. Like you enjoy sort of the more board gamey rules heavy kinds of things. You enjoy role playing games also to a degree.
I think over time now, especially with how often I now play tabletop role playing games, particularly on here, that TTRPGs are definitely becoming more of my area of expertise and choice.
Yeah.
But my basement is, my husband, as for listeners know, is a huge board game fan. So our basement is the board game room. But also occasionally the role playing room when friends come over and we do a TTRPG. Like what was the most recent one that we played down there? Brindlewood Bay.
You did Brindlewood Bay down there.
Oh my
Nick,
gosh, I love Brindlewood Bay.
Are you familiar with the game Brindlewood Bay?
I am not.
Can we tell you about it and then we'll move on?
Take me to the bay, guys.
Robin, do you want to be the bay guide here?
So imagine the Golden Girls. And
Go on.
and Murder She Wrote.
Yeah.
Oh.
And H.P. Lovecraft
Wow.
in a coastal town.
Okay, I'm back. I'm back with you. Is it in Maine? Is it Cabot Cove?
Pretty much.
It's not exactly said where, but we definitely played it like somewhere in Massachusetts, Maine, that coastal area. Yes.
You're definitely encouraged to place it in the Northeast, and it's like each time you play, it's like you're doing an episode of a whodunit, like a cozy whodunit mystery, murder mystery with a bunch of old ladies.
Each episode just gets weirder and weirder, and there's a dark secret in the town, and it's one of those games where there is no answer to it. Part of the playing it is you come up with the answer, which sounds a little vague at first, but then once you do it, you get it, because you're basically earning points to buff the whatever your rolls are at the end when you finally make the guess, because if you have to get a certain roll number for the guess to be right, if the roll is too low, then you have to come up with an entirely different theory. And so there's not like one answer, there's just a certain set of clues, and so the game master has all of those laid out. And my friend Mark, he wrote a couple of our adventures, and you can and he has them on his itch.io. And it was great.
Yeah. So Nick, I feel like if what you like is the writing exercise, sort of like collaborative storytelling, sort of like bringing a character to life aspect of it, this game like that could be a good fit. I don't know.
Definitely more role playing than Battle Simulator.
Yeah, and to say nothing of the 90s TV nostalgia element that you guys are pointing to. Sounds good for me.
Yeah.
It's an excellent game. You should look into it.
It reminds me of all my birthday parties as a child were How to Host a Murder.
Oh!
Right.
Oh, really? You did like murder mystery themed parties?
Yeah, How to Host a Murder. It's like
I
a
don't know
box.
what
You
that
play
is.
it once. It's a set story. There's a set murderer. You each have a role that you're assigned, a little booklet with like your secrets in it
And those
the
are your
things you
birthday
see. Doesn't you just talk it
parties?
out?
I love that.
It's a really safe way of coming out to your parents.
Okay, noted. Got it. That sounds super fun. How to Host a Murder. I never heard of that.
Yeah, they have, there's like a lot of it is like, Orient Express type stuff. And then they finally had one that was Star Trek Next Generation themed.
Oh, like a
And it's
murder
the
on the
most-
Enterprise?
Yeah. And it's the most like they deviate from the rules in a really like confusing. It's like absolutely insane. So you have to be an advanced How to Host a Murder player.
I want to do more
play
research.
Star
I want to
Trek.
learn about
Yeah.
this. This sounds super fun.
I've always wanted to
It's
go
really
to like
fun.
a murder mystery dinner. During the pandemic, one of my friends hosted one online for his birthday, which was fabulous. And ever since then, like I've really wanted to do one in person.
Yeah, it sounds
fun.
great. It sounds super fun. You know what else sounds super fun is getting into our game. So let's talk about that. I want to tell you what Band of Gold is. If you're new to this series and you're just jumping in for the first time, which you can do, these are all standalone sort of stories. Band of Gold, the show that you're watching or listening to right now, is a production of Pathfinder Society, organized play scenarios. This is our third mission that we're doing. The cast rotates each time we do a new mission. So you're seeing a new group of people go through these standalone scenarios that add up over the course of this season will add up into a larger sort of meta narrative. So that's sort of what you're getting involved in right now. Before we move any further, I would like to say thank you to Schadenfred, Wise Gaming, and Elo 9000 for supporting us at the Gold Star level. Thank you so much for all of our Gold Star supporters. Thank you very much. Kudos to you. And let's move on. I want to get into more details. If you're a fan of Pathfinder and you want to know how we're playing with a couple variant rules. Automatic rune progression. If you don't know what that means, it's fine. It just means that everybody's armor and weapons get stronger on pace. We don't need to like spend money on that. And also, anybody with training in medicine automatically gets the continual recovery feat, meaning that we can heal up within 10 minutes rather than needing to take a full hour. And that reminds me that I should give that to Nick's character, not to spoil anything else that's happening right now. Those are our main variants that we're playing with. So if you're wondering why things are working out the way that they are, that's what we're doing. Here's what we're playing today. We are playing Pathfinder Society scenario 603, God's Reign in a Godless Land, which is written by Solomon St. John. Last time we played 602, so we are just plugging straight on through the season. I want to let you know before we get into this episode that Paizo has a content warning for this adventure, which I'm going to read verbatim at the beginning of every one of these episodes, just to give you the chance to either stick with it or say no thank you if you'd like to. I'm just reading Paizo's warning here. This scenario contains a depiction of suicide. Before you begin, understand that player consent, including that of the game master, and we talked about this shortly before we recorded, is vital to a safe and fun play experience for everyone. You should talk with your players before beginning the adventure and modify descriptions of the narrative as appropriate. Because we have an audience for this, I'm sharing that warning with our audience as well as our players. So that's what that is. Guess what? We're gonna get into this game right now. Everybody doing okay? Everybody feeling good? Ready to rock and roll?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready.
It's Rova the 25th, 4725 AR. A fortnight ago, all of Galarian watched as Gorum, god of battle and war, died to the bladed arms of the mantis god Achakik, patron of assassins. Right after Gorum was killed, a divine meteorological phenomenon known as God's Reign occurred all across the world. The blood and ichor of the fallen god rained from the sky, covering the land and many of its creatures with an unprecedented mixture and exposing them to terrifying and wondrous consequences. Those splashed with red rain became more violent and aggressive, carried away by the war god's unending desire for conflict. But those who were touched by silver rain started manifesting divine powers, whether they wanted them or not. Our story today takes place in the country of Rahadum, also known as the Kingdom of Man. In this desert country, all organized religion is outlawed, and all must follow a philosophy known as the laws of mortality, which in essence states, let no mortal be beholden to a god. Public displays of religious worship are outlawed, as are proselytizing and divine magic. Punishments are swift and are doled out by a law enforcement group called the Pure Legion. In the port city of Manaket lies the Swordmeat Lodge, the Pathfinder Society's headquarters here in Rahadum. The three of you were summoned here by Venture Captain Obo, leader of this lodge, and you are presently waiting for your appointment with him while residing in the lodge's beautiful sun-dappled gardens. The seclusion and peace offered by the lodge's gardens are the envy of many a Pathfinder. Let's take a moment to meet the three of you before we go any further. Robin, as you're sitting in these gardens, who are we seeing? What does your character look like? And how are they enjoying this time in the gardens as the scent of the flowers soothe your spirit on this hot day?
In one of the sunniest spots of the garden sits kind of lounging and sprawling about this very large, muscular catfolk man. He looks like a panther, essentially. Dark, shiny fur. He's lounging like a cat who has found the sunniest spot in the house. So he's really kind of sprawled out and just luxuriating in all of the warmth. And but at the same time, it's a little cloud because he wears this really beautifully glamorous armor with bits of gold and inlay throughout it. Very ostentatious. Under his armor, we see some silk undergarments actually coming through in multiple colors. And that is how we first see Sir Walter Wigglesworth.
Sir Walter Wigglesworth, the catfolk.
He prefers to go by Sir Wigglesworth.
Sir Wigglesworth, okay, if you're nasty. So, Robin, I don't want to spoil anything coming up, but I want you to understand that divine magic is not welcome here in Rahadum.
Yeah,
so
I heard that.
If Sir Wigglesworth had any religious gear, what happened was you handed over that gear to the Pathfinder Society in order to enter the country. This is contraband. So if you rely on any sort of like religious paraphernalia, any sort of holy symbols, anything like that, you are currently without them.
I am so glad I changed I made some choices that changed that. Didn't rely on anything.
I want to ask you a question. You're here in Manaket, the capital city of, I'm not sure if it's a port city in Rahadum. Mm-hmm. You have, because of your background, the emissary background, you have the ability to, you have a lore related to a specific city. So my question is, does Sir Wigglesworth visit the godless city, the godless country of Rahadum, the godless port city of Manaket regularly? And is this lore that Sir Wigglesworth has Manaket lore, or is it a different place? So I'm asking you two questions. One, is the skill that you have on your character sheet Manaket lore? Two, does Sir Wigglesworth frequently come to this place that is hostile potentially to his belief system, or is this an uncomfortable experience for him right now?
Yes, he does have Manaket lore. Ooh. And coming here is actually not a problem. So Sir Wigglesworth is from the area of Vudra, which is basically on the other side of Galarian from where they are now, which is also very close to a desert. He's also traveled through the Mwangi Expanse. He was raised as a catfolk as not really having any necessarily religion. Okay. But through his travels, he has found some religion, which will then lead into who he is. Yeah. Are we saying who I should?
It's up to you. I will let people share whatever sort of class information they want to. If you want to have it be a surprise, have it be a surprise. If you just want to say it, you can say it.
So, yeah, in his travels, when he was in the Mwangi Expanse, he discovered the followers of Adanye and really fell in there, which then led him to become a champion of Adanye. But because he's got this kind of godless past as well already, he thankfully doesn't rely on any religious imagery or iconography.
Yes.
But so he enjoys, as a cat folk, he enjoys going to, or Amarun, whichever you prefer. I like Amarun as well because it sounds like a cat purring. He has...
Good point.
He's perfectly comfortable in desert environments and actually really enjoys traveling around them.
And for those of you who are not familiar with Adanye, I certainly wasn't.
Is that how you say Adanye?
I have no idea.
I wasn't sure.
This is the god of catfolk. So Nick and Scott, when your characters look over at Sir Wigglesworth, he is like a large cat humanoid panther man, and he worships the god of that, basically. Okay, cool. So moving on, Scott.
Yes.
As you look over towards Sir Wigglesworth luxuriating in the hot sun, who are you playing? What do they look like? And how are they enjoying this time in the gardens as the shade from some towering banana plants gives you some comfort from the hot sun?
Well, I'm Fishbone Lamppost, a gnome bard who is a street singer. And when you see him, he's actually hands on hips, swaying back and forth, singing a little song to like two people that happened to walk by and he caught their attention. And the song is about Sir Wigglesworth, who Fishbone just happened to see for the first time and is amazed by. So he finishes his song. He's like, and that's the most amazing cat I ever saw. And there's nobody applauds. And then Fishbone...
Nobody applauds.
The people are like clearly trying to leave. And Fishbone is like, oh, yeah, I know what you're thinking. People always ask me, Fishbone Lamppost, why'd you come up with that as your stage name? And I'm always saying, it wasn't planned. You know, I was doing some street singing and a couple of rookie cops came up and they tried to shake me down, end of the month quotas. Anyway, I gave them a fake name and I had to come up with it fast. So I looked in the street. I chose the first two objects I saw, Fishbone, Lamppost. Not my best work, but it stuck.
Amazing. Scott, I have to say, as I was prepping this adventure and I was like moving the Fishbone Lamppost token into like all of the different scenes that we've got set up for today, every single time I placed Fishbone Lamppost, I started laughing. Like,
okay.
I could not believe it.
Fishbone would appreciate it. He just wants to spread joy.
How does Fishbone Lamppost feel being in this place that's sort of like an autocratic, like anti-religious place? Maybe autocratic's the wrong word. Authoritarian is maybe a better word.
Fishbone is used to being like kind of in repressive areas and trying to eke out a living in the street. He's not very religious himself, but he feels sort of luxurious in this setting. So he's wearing a chain shirt over which is a kind of moth-eaten tunic. He doesn't seem like he's a very successful street performer, but what happens usually is when he gets into trouble, usually for identity fraud, someone in the Pathfinder Society who likes him for some reason and gets him out of prison and ships him off to another adventure somewhere out of town. This is one of those, and this is by far the nicest setting he's ever been in. So he's quite happy to be here.
This is a beautiful place.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Like Manaket is a city known for its like resplendent features, and the Pathfinder Lodge here is like particularly like beloved. So
I'm so curious now as to whether Trilphus Huddlelob and Fishbone Lamppost know each other.
It's such a good question. They're both in the TTG verse, so there's a possibility. Maybe that's something we'll explore.
We'll find out
at another time. Nick, let's say hi to Nick. Nick, who is your character? What do they look like? And how are they enjoying the gardens as the sound of the waves from the nearby inner sea echo around the walls of the lodge?
All right, well, if you find the spot with the best lighting, you're going to see a dwarf named Hodis McCabe. You would not guess necessarily at first glance that he's a dwarf because he stands very tall, as if to subvert the idea that he's a small creature. And he's found the spot that highlights his appearance the most, so maybe like people are noticing him, and they're not. He's got, there's a very nice hat on top of his head that looks like it was at one time very fancy and now has fallen out of shape, and he's done the best he can to maintain it. There's maybe some stones on it, it's very adorned. And when he notices the bard singing his song and people being forced to take note, he starts trying to catch eyes with the audience, like, oh, this guy, huh? Stupid.
How did the three of you want to take a moment to introduce yourselves to each other? Do you feel like you say anything here, or are you just sort of like eyeing each other nervously? Is anybody enthusiastic about meeting the rest of you? Like, who? If there's somebody here that's breaking the ice, who do you think it is?
It's probably Fishbone, who's excited about both of the other people because they just look way more sophisticated and way more powerful than the kinds of riffraff that Fishbone usually hangs out with. And so he, I think Fishbone is like, I think it's time to bring it in, right? It's time to bring it in.
It's time to bring it in.
And maybe as everyone gets closer, Fishbone like throws his arms out as if for a big group hug, and I can't imagine anybody responds. But so he puts his arms down after a while, and he's like, well, here we are.
Sir Wigglesworth kind of slunks over in a very cat-like way and looks down, because he's a very tall cat, so he's looking way down now at Fishbone, and he says, hello, your tunes, those little tunes, they're very charming. It's delightful to meet you.
Oh, thank you. I was hoping you'd like it.
I'm Sir Wigglesworth.
It's about you. I'm Fishbone Lamppost, and it's an absolute pleasure. The honor is all mine.
I'm sure.
I'm going to sing a song about it in just a moment after we meet this other god of a man.
Fabulous.
Standing over here.
Hodis sort of like pushes his arms out and says like, hey, short stuff, what's the coat, huh? That's expensive.
Oh, I could tell.
I could sing too. I'm a good singer, and I saw you giving it a go, and that's fine. But, a lot of us are talented here, so, just watch your back is all I'm saying.
I'll write a duet.
I'm Hodis, I guess. You guys should know my name. Hodis McCabe. Probably heard of me. Little adventure called the Prince of Darkness Takedown. I was part of that.
No, I can't say I have, and I've traveled many lands on behalf of the Pathfinder Society.
Oh, big man, huh? All right, I got you.
I mean, stature-wise, of course.
So as this sort of like grandstanding show off between these two narcissists like hits a lull, a clerk comes by, and they say quietly to you, you may follow me. And they lead you into Venture Captain Oboe's office. There are shelves of Jiskin puzzle boxes lining the walls of Oboe's office, lending a colorful backdrop to the Venture Captain's furtive conversation with a thin middle-aged woman dressed in white and gold, her pale skin adorned with blue henna. Both of these people glance to the door as it opens, and Oboe mentions everyone inside. Oboe, Venture Captain Oboe, is like a very hard-edged, sort of strong-looking, maybe a little bit insecure, maybe a little bit competitive, kind of a administrator type. And do you remember Game of Thrones? There was that handsome guy who got the zombie flu or whatever it is that happened on that show. Do you know what I'm talking about? Whatever. Who cares? He looks like that guy. He's sure. Was he the zombie? Was he the zombie man who like looked at his hand every time something happened? He was like, "Oh, it's gonna happen soon."
It was a stone sickness.
Yeah, who cares? So it doesn't matter. He was the handsome guy who every once in a while looked at his hand, and you were like, "Is anything ever gonna happen with his hand?" And then you stopped watching the show, and you never found out. So okay, so that's what this guy looks like, and he motions towards you, and he says, "Close the door," and he waits for his instruction to be followed, and then nods to the woman beside him. You've heard of our guest, I'm sure, even if you don't know her on sight. This is Dr. Cassie Azarel, founder of the School of Godless Healing, which makes her one of the most important private citizens in the country, so mind your manners. The society has agreed to help her, and time is of the essence. And he's like, no nonsense, just points straight at her, and he's like, Doctor? This woman seems tired, but this doctor, Kazi Azrael, turns to face the room with the firm stance of a no-nonsense lecturer. I shall assume no one present has been living under a rock, and we are all thus familiar with the recent God's Reign incident.
Yes, I did hear. For followers of Gorum, this must be absolutely devastating.
I have lived under a rock, but not recently.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I heard things.
Yes. This event presents many challenges for a nation such as Rahadum, particularly when it applies to those mortals who have been unfortunate enough to manifest divine magic. Under the laws of mortality, Rahadum cannot abide the continued existence of divine power within its borders. These people who have manifested divine power due to the God's Reign, however, are not willing channels, they are innocent citizens, and many would reject these rain blessings if they could. Some in this country do not care and call for the rain blessed to be expelled, arrested, or punished for violating our laws, no matter whether they embrace the gifts or not. Others seek tolerance and solutions, perhaps a cure to the rain blessings. No one can agree. The Council of Elders is at a deadlock, and tensions are rising. I fear that things will become dangerous soon. That is why I am here. Pathfinders, 6 of my medical students are among these rain-blessed. They are my best and brightest, and I owe it to them to ensure their safety. I believe the only way to do that is to get them out of the country. Which is where we come in, interjects Obo, not Odo from Star Trek, but Obo from this. He interjects as he lays a map of the city out on a desk. He continues and he points to the map as though offering strategy tips in a game of Siege. A ship, the Risen Albatross, is already waiting at the dock. Once the students are on board, they'll be safe. The trick will be getting them there without drawing attention. Like Dr. Azrael said, a lot of people around here have it out for the Rain Blessed, and a contact of the societies within the Pure Legion tells us that some among their ranks particularly hate the Rain Blessed and may be looking to take things into their own hands. Your job as a group will be to escort the 6 Rain-blessed students from their current location, Dr. Azrael's research lab, to the docks. Moving half a dozen untrained civilians through the city is going to attract attention whether we like it or not, but the more you can keep your head down, the better off we'll be. Now, leaving the country isn't illegal, so if you face interference from members of the Pure Legion, you can safely assume they belong to this anti-rain-blessed rogue element. Defend yourselves and your charges, but it is vitally important that you do not kill the Legionnaires. If you can subdue and restrain them for our Legion contact, our friend within the Pure Legion. If you can restrain them, she'll collect them. Sorry. They'll collect them. God damn it.
I know this is emotional for all of us.
No, they swore to me that I should protect their identity, and I just gave you a clue as to who they might be. I don't know how I got this job.
All right. Talk.
Stressful.
Okay, anyway, it's the sooner we can get them to them, the better. Does anybody have any questions about what it is that's going on here?
No. 6 little freaky kids. We'll get them to the boat. That's it. I don't know what the other 2 here are going to do, but I got that on my own.
Oh, it's a very straightforward extraction mission.
Do you need me to cast magical disguises on us? I don't know that spell.
No, you should be okay. We knew you didn't know this spell.
Okay, good.
Are we doing this under the cover of night? That seems like that would be the most useful.
Nope, we're doing it right now. So,
so no plan going in then?
Well, I mean, there is a plan.
The plan would be the how, not the results.
The plan is you do what I tell you to do, okay? You have to get swiftly and quietly to Dr. Azrael's lab. They're ready to go right now. If we wait until nightfall, for all we know, this contingent within the Pure Legion that's trying to destroy all these Rain Blast, they might have already gotten to them and killed them. So we don't have the convenience of waiting until it's easier for you to do your job, okay? I'm counting on you three because you three were available, and also because you're the best at what it is that you do.
It's a good thing we're best friends, too.
Cassie Azrael sort of raises an eyebrow and is like, yes, the bonds that we make in tense situations can sometimes be lasting. So the three of you worked together before then?
Oh, yes. Starting 5 minutes ago.
Well, if I've already told you something about our contact within the Pure Legion, I may as well tell you the rest. Captain Kazuma Rufa leads the Pure Legion regiment in Azir. She's been an ally of the Society for years, ever since some of our agents saved her life. She came to Manaket to perform her own investigation into this rumored conspiracy within the Pure Legion, but she's been stonewalled. That's why she came to us. If you can get her proof that something's going on, whether that's witness testimony or someone to interrogate who might be part of this conspiracy, she can act against them before they actually manage to hurt anyone.
So it sounds like it would be useful if someone does attempt to attack us and we capture them and bring them to her.
It's a great point. That's another reason why we're doing this in broad daylight. You know, when you first asked why don't we do it at night, I didn't have a lot of great answers to the question, but as we're talking it through, it really seems to me like this was a great plan that I put together, and It all kind of makes sense.
Yes, I'm starting to see how you got this job.
Thank you. And I'm starting to see how you got in the position that you are. And he smiles at you warmly for stroking his ego.
Brrr.
He hands you a letter from Kazuma as he finishes giving you this information. And I'm going to read this letter to you real quick. To whichever bunch of Pathfinders winds up taking this assignment. Pleasure to make your acquaintance. Sorry I can't make the introductions in person, but I don't want to tip anyone in the Manaket regiment off that I'm bringing outside help into this investigation. If this supposed extremist faction does exist, which, to be fair, it might not, I doubt they'll be able to resist the bait of a half-dozen Rain Blast trying to slip out of the country on their own accord rather than waiting to be thrown out by government decree. Just keep an eye out, and if you get hassled by any Pure Legionnaires who seem a little too into their job, try to get their names, or hell, knock them out for all I care, and drop me a line on the slate so I know where to pick them up. Good luck out there. Signed, Kazuma Rufa, Captain, Pure Legion Regiment of Azir.
Is the slate then like something like one of those communication stones from D&D?
What are you talking about?
Aren't there? I thought there's like a stone, like some.
No, this is just a thing written down. I was just reading it to you.
Yeah, because it says drop me a line on the slate, so I know where to pick them up. I was wondering if that was like some item that communicates.
Your attention to detail, Robin, is truly remarkable.
And annoying.
I don't know. Let's just say yes. I'm going to say yes to you.
Tell that to the person I just interviewed with yesterday, by the way, about the attention to detail.
I'll tell them. Should I loop them in on the call right now? Should I be like, okay, you're going to be playing a cleric. It's going to be tough because magic's outlawed here, but that's your job. Okay, so I just want you to. Okay, so the next thing that happens is that Obo reaches into a package and offers it to Sir Wigglesworth and says, this is some of your religious gear that you had to check in with the Pathfinder Society. We smuggled it through.
Oh,
I apologize for separating you from your gear for this long. But please, keep your divine magic under wraps. Perform it in secret if you have to perform it at all.
Of course. Hopefully I won't need to lay on hands, but of course, only behind closed doors.
Yes. Unfortunately, there aren't that many of these because you will have of closed doors. Is what I'm trying to tell you. Because you're going to have to get through. You're going to have to get through the market to approach the Cassie's lab.
There's always a door somewhere that can be opened and then closed.
Yeah. Is that, you mean like philosophically? Or are you talking sort of like about is it like?
Sure.
Okay, I don't know how to read that. Well.
Oh, he's so
Hey, I got a
obnoxious,
question.
I love it.
Yeah, go ahead, Hugus man.
Now, if I'm reading this right, and
Yeah, please.
I'm no genius, it seems like y'all are setting us up as bait. Is that right?
Well, no, we're setting the kids up as bait. You're professionals there to protect the kids.
So what?
And Cassie Azrael is like, I'm sorry, what? You're setting my students up as bait? And he's like, metaphorically, it's not real bait. It's just that there's an opportunity. Listen, there's an opportunity here for us to catch this conspiracy before it hits full steam. So the risk that is being presented to your Rain-blessed students is going to pay dividends for protecting other Rain-blessed around the country. Okay?
That's what I thought. So let me ask this. What resources are you giving us? What payment? What glory do we stand to profit here?
What kind of Pathfinder are you?
Smart one.
Yeah, you're gonna get 23 Pathfinder points, which are redeemable at any Pathfinder lodge. Of course, they'll expire within 14 days, so you have to spend them right away.
Oh boy, 23.
Yeah, that's right. That's correct.
To be a Pathfinder is to try and help and enlighten the world, not just your pockets.
But people are going to know I did it, right?
Sure, you can get the glory, Hodis.
This adventure is so much better than prison.
What
I can't wait to get
doing,
started.
Fishbone?
I look like I'm about to steal something from the desk, and then I'm like, oh, no, not here. Sorry.
Obo turns to Hodis and says, "Of course, your standing within the Pathfinder Society will rise if you can complete this for us, and I'm sure that Dr. Azrael would love to compensate you as well." And Dr. Azrael is like, "Sure, yes, yes. I'm sure there's something I can do to reward you if you manage to succeed in helping my students. Of course."
Manage to. All right. That's what I'm talking about.
I want to invite anybody, if they would like to make either a society check or a medicine check to see what it is that you know about Dr. Cassie Azrael, if you wouldn't mind.
Oh, I will absolutely make a society check, sure.
So, okay. So as you try to recall what it is that you know about Cassie Azrael, Fishbone Lamppost has a sense of what's going on. Let me tell you that. Fishbone Lamppost, basically only because he is a student of the streets. He's got the untrained improvisation feat. This is something that means that he's good at stuff that he doesn't have really that much training in. That helps him out with this medicine check that he just did. He knows that Cassie Azrael, in addition to everything else, she is known as the Mother of Medicine, a title granted in honor of her many important breakthroughs in non-magical healing. Non-magical healing is a huge deal here in Rahadoom. She's traveled the world. She studied at the Magambia, the wizard school that is in the Mwangi Expanse. She's developed techniques so revolutionary that they've spread around the world, partially due to her own efforts, and partially thanks to plagiarism by other scholars who have just copied her work. I'd like to let everybody know before we move any further that everyone has a hero point on deck. The way that a hero point works is that you can re-roll any D20 roll if you'd like to. You can spend a hero point to re-roll a D20. That can be a saving throw, it can be a skill check, it can be an attack. You can also spend all of your hero points, all of your remaining hero points to stabilize yourself if you're dying. If you're about to die, you can spend all your hero points and you then do not die. And with that, let's get into it. Let's start this little bit of espionage we're about to get into. Shall we? What do you think?
Oh, yeah.
I can't wait to get in trouble for using some divine shit.
So, yes. So just to recap everything, your goal here is to reach Cassie Azrael's lab at the heart of the city, collect the 6 students currently located there, and transport them safely to the docks, all without drawing too much attention from the locals or especially from the more zealous members of the Pure Legion. I'm going to be tracking points, awareness points. I'm bringing it up to you now. I'm probably not going to be like, you get this many, you get that many, but you're going to know when you get them and you're going to know when you don't get them, okay? So I'm tracking these points along the way, and this will give us a sort of abstracted sense of how much awareness the people who might be trying to stop you or the people who might be trying to get to these students have of your progress in this mission. So the more awareness points you gain, the worse it is because the more everybody knows what you're doing. Your other goal here is to collect evidence for Captain Kazuma Rufa, the Pathfinder Society's contact within the Pure Legion, about this like conspiracy of like hate mongers within the Pure Legion. I'm tracking points to track how much evidence you have gotten there, because that'll be helpful for you potentially in looping in getting Kazuma Rufa the information that she needs. So I'm tracking those two things across the course of this entire scenario, these awareness points and these like evidence points.
And Cosmo would be happy too if we like found a person and subdued them, and
that would be a great way to get evidence points, is if you can like subdue people that you think are part of this conspiracy, for sure. I also want to talk to you a little bit about the thing that you were told by the Pathfinder reps here of not killing any members of the Pure Legion. So there are things in this game, non-lethal attacks, where you can like take an attack that would be lethal with a weapon, like a sword attack, and you can give yourself a -2 penalty to make it non-lethal. So if you knock somebody out if you reduce somebody's hit points to 0, they go to knocked out rather than to dead. Nick, your unarmed strikes are actually non-lethal by default, so you don't really have to worry about this at all.
Great.
I'm going to do something a little bit unorthodox through this adventure because of like recommendations that I've read online about this thing. Typically in this game, when you reduce an enemy's hit points to 0, we just say that they're killed. There's some allowance within the rules for the GM to use the same death and dying rules that player characters use, where it's like they die, they go to dying 1, they go to dying 2, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to do that today with any members of the Pure Legion that you run into. So I'm trying to be not particularly punitive. If you cast a spell and it takes them down to 0 hit points, you'll have the opportunity to say like lay on hands or give them a healing potion or something like that to keep them from dying if you want to. I just don't particularly, it's not the kind of game that I want to run today where it's like, oh, you accidentally reduce somebody to 0 hit points and they're dead. I would rather give you that sort of second chance to save them.
Got it.
Do you get what I'm saying? Okay. And again, if you accidentally kill a Legionnaire anyway, that's going to be something that would certainly increase the awareness that they have of you a bunch. Get what I'm saying? I'm saying it'll get you many points. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Bad points.
Bad points. Excuse me.
Bad points, woof.
You said it.
Don't get the bad points. The dog is here to warn you. You don't want those points. Okay. So, let's go. Let's do it. You're starting to travel to the lab. You leave the front gates of the Pathfinder Lodge here, and you are starting to move your way through the city to get to Cassie's lab. There's going to be sneaking. There are going to be some obstacles along your way. Think of this as like a spy mission. There are eyes watching this city for any sort of disruption, and you're trying to not create that disruption. This stage of this mission, you're going to rely on sort of hushed tones, furtive glances, that kind of thing, as you try to keep a low profile.
Fishbone is trying not to sing. He's like mouthing silently to himself, like, I have 2 friends that I'm going on an espionage trip with. Nobody knows it's me.
But the spy is like, why is that man trying so hard to not sing? What's happening with this guy? He clearly wants to sing and he's tamping it down. 13 awareness points.
Yeah, 13.
So you start working your way through first a few winding city like pathways between the tightly packed buildings here in Manaket, and you wind up passing through an area that is more open to the waterfront. You're not at the docks, but there is a hill that then recedes back down like a dune that goes towards the water. And your way here, as you get to another tight passageway, getting ready to get back into the tighter city streets, is blocked by a flock of seagulls fighting over the remains of an abandoned meal.
Most musical group of birds shouting mine all at once.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is up to you to, I'm trying to get an Iran joke from Flock of Seagulls here.
I couldn't actually remember any of their songs. I could just remember that they're a band.
I think if you're going to remember any of their songs, it's likely going to be that one.
Any of their song.
any of their
Yeah.
songs.
I mean, I'm sure I'd know it. I'm so bad at matching
it's
band
great.
names to their songs.
You know what? It's a good thing that's not part of this game, because
Thank
if
goodness.
so, yeah, thank goodness.
The music round is always my worst round at trivia.
Always my best, shockingly.
We should be on a trivia team together.
We should be. Let's do it.
I like
okay,
it.
see you guys later.
Bye.
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 Okay, so getting past these seagulls isn't the problem. It's getting past them without drawing any attention by disturbing them is the problem. So I'm going to ask each of you to describe what it is that you're doing to get around these seagulls, if you don't mind. The two things that jump out at me, or the two things that are suggested in this adventure, although you can make other suggestions if you would like. You could potentially do a nature check to coax them out of your way. You could use your knowledge and understanding of birds to gently move them around. Or perhaps you could use a stealth check to slip by the seagulls without spooking them. If anybody else has any other thoughts, that's great. But the DC is going to be slightly higher. So let's start with. Go ahead.
Oh, no, go on.
Nobody said anything. Let's start with Scott. What do you think Lamppost Fishbone? What do you think Fishbone Lamppost is going to be doing to slip by these seagulls?
Well, Fishbone
As you hear
Lamppost,
that.
he was wondering if he could mesmerize them with a song, but they're animals. I'm not sure they're going to respond the same way people will. So he's thinking,
I think you could, but it'll be a slightly higher DC.
I think he's also Fishbone wants to show his companions as soon as possible that he is the best at what he does. He's not, but he wants to show that he is. So maybe that's what he does. Is he's sort of like, as he goes by, he does a little performance where he mimics the seagull sounds and a little bit of their movement.
Yeah,
but mostly it's him, an auditory performance.
Okay. So Fishbone becomes a seagull to try to slip past, to perform like a dance, a little jig that tricks them. So this is going to be a little higher DC, a DC 25 performance check. This is tricky.
Okay. And do I roll publicly?
Roll publicly, please.
Oh,
I will tell
boy.
you if you succeed or not, because the pigeons will tell you. Or whatever it is. Seagulls, whatever we're talking about.
All right. Let me give this
Mine?
Ooh.
Ooh, what'd you get?
I got a 34.
Almost a critical. But that's great. Fishbone manages, at least as the three of you are trying to contend with this, Fishbone adopts the mannerisms of a seagull. And I think you have shown them that you're the best at what you do. It's just that what you do is maybe
Really weird.
really weird.
It's really weird. In fact, I do have fascinating performance, so they might be fascinated by it.
Oh, let's talk about that. What is that? What is fascinating performance?
So when I compare, when I perform, I can compare
Yeah.
the results to the will DC of one observer, but there's lots of seagulls. So I think I can fascinate 4 of them if they follow will DC, and the others I can't.
Here's what I'm going to say is I'm going to say that the next person that wants to do the check, the person who's following up on Fishbone's example here, is going to get a +1 to their check.
Ooh.
Great.
So who would like to go next? Who is least confident about nature or stealth or whatever other plan you might want to come up with?
Sir Wigglesworth is trained in stealth, so how are you, Nick?
I am not the stealthiest, if I remember.
Or nature?
No.
No, whatever takes nature.
Yeah.
Unless you're a druid.
Nobody ever takes it. So Hodis is in a situation where he's either going to completely screw this up or he comes up with some sort of bright idea.
Yeah.
So maybe
I've got an
Hodis.
Hodis can take the +1.
Let's get the +1 to Hodis.
Okay, got it. I think Hodis is looking at this like this show that just happened with the singing and the, and he's just like,
Marn.
stupid. And so, how many birds are there?
It's a flock.
Let's call it 50 birds.
50.
Oh my God.
It's a lot of seagulls. Oh my God. That's something out of the birds.
Well,
Yeah,
all
the
of the
tippy head.
religions that sacrifice seagulls have been run out of Rahadum, and they have, without any predators, they've become an invasive species.
Yeah.
They're like the spotted lanternfly here in New York City.
Who is sacrificing a seagull?
A lot of
You're
people
supposed
are.
to step on them.
Yeah, you're supposed to step on them. That's what most religions are about, is my understanding.
So
yeah,
Can't
the absence of
seagulls.
religion has led to just a disgusting explosion of the seagull population.
Gotta maintain the food chain.
You do, and
Yeah.
religious people love eating seagulls. So go ahead, Nick.
So
What do you
here's
say
my
with that?
idea. Tell me
Yeah.
if this tracks, Lars.
Sure.
Hodis is an excellent grappler. So
Okay.
what if he takes off a cloak and
Okay.
tries to grab as many of these as he can?
Okay. And what are you going to do with them once you grab them?
Tie it up, toss it away, and then throw the food next to it.
Okay. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can take the spirit of what you're saying and turn it into something that makes more sense to me.
Okay.
You're talking about. Let's make an athletics check to try to so aggressively like slam your way through that you get through before they even notice. You can push them out of the way. You can bag them up if you need to, but you're gonna like use pure strength, athleticism to get through the situation.
Yes, he's gonna. Yeah, it's gonna.
I think-
or is it better to be an intimidation check? Like he's being a tough guy to the birds in a way.
I
that
think
they,
both. I think these. I'm just trying to think my way through it. I think that you're looking at a really terrible DC. Regardless, I think that Hodis is like both of those are things where like this would take a truly spectacular performance from Hodis.
Okay.
But that's maybe the best that you got. Like I'm
Okay.
looking at your
All right.
character sheet, and I think that's what you got. I think that's what
then
we're
I'm gonna
talking
go
about.
with it. Let's keep it simple. I'm gonna go with intimidation.
Okay.
And Hodis looks at this situation and he goes, "Oh, these birds are interested in a song. Guess what? I'm tougher than these birds. I'm gonna stomp through here, and they're gonna be so scared of me. They're not even. They're gonna be stuck in their tracks. All right.
Okay. Yeah, it seems insane. Let's call that a DC 27 intimidation check, and you get this +1 because
Plus
they're
one.
the seagulls are stymied by the fascinating performance of Fishbone Lamppost.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Watch out, birds.
Did you win?
What'd you get?
Not so good. 17.
17, because of the distracting, the fascinating performance from Fishbone Lamppost makes that not a critical failure, which is a huge deal. So the seagulls start like you're trying to like grab them, barrel on through, and they're like flapping all around, like they're just slipping past you. You're trying to grab at them, they're getting away, but because there's just a few of them like gazing at
eyes on me,
Fishbone
eyes on me.
Lamppost. You don't send the entire flock up into the air. So that's about as well as that could have gone, to be honest. Hodis McCabe is suited for a lot of things. Slipping past a flock of seagulls, it seems like, is not one of them.
Piece of cake.
Piece of cake. Okay, so Robin, how is Sir Wigglesworth contending with this problem?
Well, Sir Wigglesworth is going to use his cat-like reflexes and
Okay.
cat-like stealth to try and stealth past them.
Okay.
So let's see if we can avoid notice. Or I guess it's avoid notice.
I'm just looking for a
not that
stealth
really
check.
matters. Yeah, I just
I'll
enjoying.
throw it in the chat for you.
Got it.
You got it.
Ooh.
So that was a 26.
26, a really good roll and really close to the DC. So this is tough. These DCs are very, very difficult. That passes though, meaning that you got 2 successes, right? Let me just make sure I'm getting this stuff right.
Does Sir Wigglesworth, is he able to like grab Hodis by the collar and drag and like sneakily drag him with him?
Yes, it seems like it.
Ooh.
So you managed to get through that obstacle without gaining any sort of awareness of what you were doing. The only reason that happened was because of Fishbone Lamppost. So let's throw a let's throw a
because of
hero.
me.
And sure, let's throw a hero point to Scott.
Oh,
Well
thank
deserved.
Oh, I love it.
Scott loves the drops.
They said there won't be trumpets. There won't be.
Or reverb at
okay.
least.
So you've got your hero point, and let's move on. There's another obstacle on the way as you continue slipping through the city streets, on the way to Cassie Azarel's lab to meet with these students. There is a group of irate citizens as you slip into a town square, holding a political demonstration to demand the Council of Elders vote to arrest and expel the Rain Blessed from Rahadum. They have gathered a crowd of onlookers, some in support, others to argue against their case, but they're all blocking the road. So your goal here is to negotiate a way through this mob, as there's like a civil uprising here, without drawing too much attention. So you can come up with whatever way it is that you'd like to slip through this. The ways here are, the easiest way would seem to be to use acrobatics to slip your way through gaps in the crowd. Athletics could be useful to shove your way through by force, or perhaps society would help you negotiate a way through the mob without attracting too much attention, without drawing too much attention. So who'd like to go first on this one, as the three of you are trying to, as a group, slip through this rally against the Rain Blessed without getting too much attention?
What about deception?
Sell me on deception, please.
So I'm wondering if Sir Wigglesworth could kind of use distracting words or something to distract a group away enough to make an opening for the other two to also pass by.
That sounds a little performance-y to me. Robin, how do you like this? Deception to maybe impersonate one of these people to blend into the crowd a little bit.
Sure, yeah.
Do you
That
like
totally
that?
makes sense. Yeah, that's another one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that also just very much fits Sir Wigglesworth. I've been excited to take advantage of his hobnobber feat.
Yeah.
Which is
So
to gather information, but we don't need information at the moment. Although I guess
you
we
do
might
not
be
need
able
information. Yeah.
Although could he maybe get some information, try and attempt to get some information while he's in this crowd about the Legion? See if anyone here knows anything?
Yeah, so if you want to do that, that's maybe slipping through with so let's, there are two ways you can do this. You can do a society check just as your check to get through, and you can get information that way. Another, and I think that your Manaket lore would potentially be usable instead of society, given that you know this city extremely well. That could be potentially like a way to negotiate a way through the mob, if you can try that. Or you could do deception, and then we'll, as a sideline, do whatever sort of check you want to do to gather information as a sort of bonus add-on.
Let's do deception.
Okay.
That's a much better roll for me. That's almost double my Manaket in society.
Okay. So deception is going to be a slightly higher DC. It's going to be a DC 23.
Okay.
As you try to blend in, impersonate these people. Impersonate a supporter of this cause.
That's a 26.
26. So Sir Walter Wigglesworth adopts the affect of some of these enraged anti-Rain Blessed type people and manages to slip on through the crowd.
Yes. How uncouth! How dare there be godly people here?
Do you want to give me another check to try to gather some information? We're sort of playing fast and loose here. Let's do it.
Yeah. Right? So that would be diplomacy for the gather information.
That's fine.
Let's see what I can get.
I think this is going to be harder. This is going to be a 26.
Oh, and that was blind. So
yeah,
I don't know why.
So
I came
that's
out blind.
because if it's a critical failure, you gather incorrect information. So we're going to deal with that blind gathering information as it was. That's the way that thing works. This is a higher DC because you're doing it so quickly. Is sort of the way that I'm ruling it. And Sir Walter Wigglesworth tries to get people to open up to him about the truth surrounding this anti-Rain Blessed information. You don't really get much of anything of any value. You just sense that these people who are demonstrating against the Rain Blessed, they're not members of the Pure Legion. This isn't related to that conspiracy that you're trying to uncover. They just are so hardline against any sort of divine magic that they want to remove anybody from the country who has manifested it, regardless of whether it's their choice or not. They're just hardliners. They are aggressive political absolutists, which of course has no bearing on anything happening in our real world at all right now. So we can just slide right on past that one.
You know who I think would actually really like Manaket?
I have some ideas of who would like it. Yes, go ahead.
Rix.
Oh, Rix, yeah.
My other character.
Nick, in the super religious adventure that we ran last time, Robin was playing a anti-religious character, and now in the super anti-religious adventure we're running, Robin's playing a super religious character.
Both by chance. Well, I mean, Rix was mainly anti-magic, and religious magic just confused her.
Is she in the crowd? Do you see her there?
She's elsewhere.
I do not see little frat folk around here, no.
Okay, but that's a success. No additional information, just a little more background from Sir Walter as he slips on through. Who would like to try this one next? We're looking at acrobatics, athletics, society, or whatever else you like to slip through this crowd.
Sir Walter, Fishbone sees Sir Walter do this, and Fishbone is like, "Oh, that's such a good idea. I bet I can do that too," and would like to try the same thing of like impersonating just another person and kind of follow right behind Sir Walter.
Okay.
So
we're going to look at another deception check to blend into the crowd, to shout intolerant slogans to get ahead.
This will be a versatile performance, using performance to impersonate.
Okay.
And so, Fishbone starts walking through, and he's like, "Oh my God," more like, "No, my God." He doesn't really know what he's doing.
No, God. No, my... I'm trying to... No. Ignore me. I tried.
And I got a 24.
Yeah, I said it was a DC 23 last time. So that's another success. Yes, you blend in right behind Sir Walter as he slips on through the crowd. You blend in. You become part of the Manaket civic life through your performance ability.
I can't let it get to my head.
Now, Hodis sees his two companions become one with the crowd. What is Hodis going to do to get through this?
Hodis is watching this happen, and he's kind of silently trying to rehearse a scene in his head where he can imitate the people too. And he's hearing it in his voice, and he's thinking maybe it's not going to work. And he's going, "Oh, I'm protesting. Yeah, I don't like. I'm mad about that. Yeah. Aren't you mad about that?" And so finally, he like throws down a rock, and he picks the tallest, skinniest guy in the crowd, and he does. I want to do an intimidation check, and what I want to do is tell that guy. Well, should I roll and then describe? He goes up to the tallest, skinniest guy he can.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, Chief, I really got to go to the bathroom. No. I gotta get to the bathroom on the other side of this. Now I'm gonna walk behind you. You walk in front of me. Got it?
Okay.
Get me through this crowd."
I like, Nick, that you are doing this instead of the path of least resistance, which is clearly an athletics check. Let's go. Let's make this happen. So you find a man who seems like he can cut his way through the crowd, and you say that you're going to hurt him if he doesn't lead you to a bathroom. Yeah. Let's get that intimidation check. This is going to be DC 24. What'd you get?
The 17.
Okay. We're in the same place that we were last time. You have 2 successes, 1 failure, no critical failures.
Mm-hmm.
And so this guy turn around and he's like, "Man, I'm too busy hating here, buddy. Come on, lay off, man. I want to yell at these people, man."
Hodis goes up. He tries the voice again. He goes, "Yeah, me too. But I gotta go to the bathroom, you know. I like protesting.
I gotta go to the bathroom. If you find the bathroom, come back and tell me, okay?"
Hodis fixes his shirt and just starts pushing his way through the crowd, and saying, "I'm going to the bathroom, just like that guy."
When you get through, Fishbone's like, "That was great."
I know.
So the 3 of you manage to slip through this crowd, and I need everybody to give me a perception check, please.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do another one.
That's fine.
My bad.
So I've gotten 3 perception checks. Nick, I'm really sorry that you've been elected key butt monkey of this group. It seems. I'm so sorry.
Welcome to the game.
Welcome to the game. So Sir Walter and Fishbone Lamppost.
Sir Wigglesworth
and Fishbone Lamppost start to move quickly through the street. You're getting closer and closer to the Cassie Azrael's lab, and the 2 of you notice just in time that there is a fruit merchant's cart that is been poorly secured. You get the sense that a careless bump on the way past is enough to knock it over and topple the fruit it carries all over the street, attracting tons and tons and tons and tons of attention. Unfortunately, Hodis McCabe plows straight into the apple cart. Apples go spilling everywhere. Is he going to fall? Will he bash his head in? Will the Pure Legion see this group as they attempt to sneak their way through the city of Manaket? We'll find out next time.
Never take a dwarf anywhere. The Band of Gold is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated fan content policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. The Band of Gold is not published, endorsed, or specifically approved by Paizo. For more information about Paizo and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in The Band of Gold are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. Visit tabletopgold.com to learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.